Listen closely, because the landscape in Houston is shifting under our feet. We are witnessing a calculated, aggressive, and highly intentional transformation of this roster. As an insider, I have been tracking the moves, the phone calls, and the front office maneuvers that are setting the stage for a legitimate championship run. This is not just noise, this is business. The decisions being made right now inside the building will define the trajectory of the season. We have major developments to cover, from specialized talent to critical pivots. You are not going to want to miss a single second.
Stop what you are doing and pay attention, because the Houston Texans just made a move that should send a clear signal to the rest of the league. According to reports confirmed this past Monday by The Athletic, the organization has secured a 2-year deal with linebacker and special teams ace Jake Hummel, formerly of the Baltimore Ravens. Let me be absolutely clear about this. This is the kind of signing that wins games in the margins. You hear about the big-name quarterbacks and the flashy receivers, but championships are built on the backs of men like Jake Hummel, who understand the grit, the grind, and the discipline required to control the field position battle. This guy is a warrior. He has spent his time in Baltimore learning from one of the most disciplined organizations in the NFL, and he is bringing that specific brand of tenacity to our team. Now, some might look at this and say, it is just a depth move. To that, I say nonsense. You want to talk about winning? You want to talk about taking that next step? You need specialists who do not blink when the pressure is on. Jake Hummel is a high IQ player who understands the nuances of the defensive scheme and brings a level of consistency that our special teams unit has been craving. This is about establishing a culture where every single player, regardless of their position on the depth chart, is expected to execute at a championship level. The front office is clearly prioritizing versatility and reliability, and this move is a direct reflection of that mandate. I've been covering this league for a long time, and I can tell you that when a team adds a player with the pedigree of Jake Hummel, they are sending a message that they are tightening the screws on every single phase of the game. It is a smart, calculated investment that provides us with the flexibility we need to navigate the long, grueling stretch of the regular season. But while we are celebrating this addition, we have to address the elephant in the room regarding our offensive line depth. We all saw the pursuit of other targets, and when you miss on a player you identified as a priority, the questions begin to mount. The front office tried to make it work, but the reality is that the market is a ruthless beast. We missed out on the guy we wanted, and now the entire strategy has to change in a heartbeat. The pressure is mounting to fill that void, and the decision they make next will determine if this unit can hold up against the pass rushers of the AFC. What happens when the primary plan fails and you are forced to pivot under the glare of the spotlight? You have to move fast or you get left behind in this league, and I have the details on exactly where the organization is looking next. If you want to keep getting exclusive insights like this, subscribe now. Do not get left in the dark while the rest of the league makes moves. Stay locked in for the truth behind the headlines.
Let us keep this moving, because there is no time to sit around and cry over spilled milk, especially when you are talking about the trenches. We need to talk about the situation regarding Cade Mays. The Texans missed out on him, and that is a reality that needs to be addressed with total honesty. In this league, you identify your targets, you build your board, and you execute your plan. But when you strike out on a guy like Cade Mays, the narrative shifts from acquisition to damage control. I'm hearing that the front office is already deep into their secondary options, and let me tell you, the margin for error here is razor thin. This is where you see if your scouting department is really worth their salt. You lose out on your first option, so what do? Do you panic? Do you reach? No, you pivot with precision. We are looking at a tactical shift in the free agency approach that suggests the team is now looking for a different profile of linemen. This is not just about bodies, it's about finding someone who fits the specific blocking scheme that the coaches are demanding. If you can't get the player you wanted, you have to find the player who can perform the role at the same level of efficiency. I'm looking at the list of available talent, and there are names out there that could potentially fill this gap, but the price point and the fit have to be perfect. This is a high-stakes game of chess, and the Texans are currently calculating their next move to ensure that the offensive line does not become the weak link that sinks the season. You cannot ignore the necessity of depth in the modern NFL. If you don't have it, you get exposed. I have been extremely critical of teams that fail to address their interior line, and I will be watching this pivot closely to see if they make the right call. The frustration among the fan base is palpable, and rightfully so. You want to see the organization go out and secure the pieces they need to protect the franchise quarterback. But this is the reality of the business. You have to adapt, you have to be smart, you have to find value where others see leftovers. The front office knows that their credibility is on the line with this next transaction. They cannot afford another miss. They need to land a contributor who can step in immediately and provide stability. It's a tall task, but it is the job they are paid to do. And just when you think you have a handle on the personnel changes, another massive development drops that completely changes the defensive dynamic of the entire team.
Now pay attention, because this is where the picture starts to get really interesting. The Houston Texans have officially signed Reed Blankenship to a 3-year deal. Let me repeat that. A 3-year contract for the former Philadelphia Eagles defensive back. I am giving this an instant grade of an A-, because this is exactly the kind of move that speaks to long-term planning and immediate impact. You look at what Reed Blankenship brings to the table, and you see a player who is fundamentally sound, aggressive in the open field, and possesses the kind of instincts that you just cannot teach. This is not a flyer. This is not a bargain bin pickup. This is a foundational piece for our secondary. I have watched the tape on this young man, and he understands the assignment. He knows how to leverage the field, he knows how to close on the ball, and more importantly, he brings a level of physical toughness that is going to change the tone of our defensive backfield. The immediate reaction across the league has been one of surprise, and for good reason. Not many people saw this acquisition coming, but it is a masterclass in identifying talent that is ready to break out. The Eagles were a tough team to leave, but he is coming into a system in Houston that is going to maximize his output. When you look at the totality of the moves we've discussed today, you start to see a very clear strategy emerging. We are bolstering the special teams, we are recalibrating our approach to the offensive line, and now we are locking down the secondary with a high-ceiling talent like Reed Blankenship. This is how you build a winner. You don't just throw money at the biggest name in the paper. You find the guys who fit the culture and you lock them up. This is a massive win for the front office. I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at the contract structure, and everything about this deal screams intelligence. They are not overspending, but they are securing the talent they need to compete at the highest level of the AFC. The domino effect of these 3 stories is undeniable. We are seeing a team that is actively trying to plug holes and upgrade the overall quality of the roster before the draft even gets into full swing. The competition is going to be fierce, and every single move from this point forward matters. You have to wonder, with a signing like this, what is the next domino to fall? Are we looking at more secondary help, or are they going to pivot back to that offensive line concern? The intensity in the building is through the roof, and the expectation is clear. Nothing less than total performance is accepted. We are witnessing a fundamental shift in how this team handles the offseason. We have covered a lot of ground today, from the grit of a special team signing to the strategic pivot on the offensive line and the massive addition in the secondary. The Texans are proving they are not here to play games. They are here to win. This is a decisive moment for our team, and the moves we are seeing are laying the groundwork for a serious run. I want to hear from you. Which of these moves do you think will have the biggest impact on our success this season? Do you like the direction we are heading in? Drop your comments below and let me know your take. We are building something special, and I appreciate you being here for the ride. Stay locked in.